Hello everyone, I'm the arms man, Chi Lang. This time, 4 very powerful new machines have arrived. This is the Vidda C2 full package. Here we have C2, C2S, C2 Pro. Okay, try to twist it out. These 4 extremes are very strong. Recycling funds have started testing non-stop. Everyone please like to support. All 4 are market available projectors with pan heads. And in this episode, I'll share my exclusive knowledge. Definitely something you haven't heard outside. No more nonsense. Let's get started right away. Okay, let's first look at the appearance of the screen. Speaking of the front and back, this is an all-black environment with a 100-inch screen, white screen. Undoubtedly, the 2 machines are V's C2 Pro and C2 Ultra, with brightness levels of 2600 CVIA and 3000 CVIA, respectively. The contrast ratio is all 2000 to 1. 110% of BT total. Because the brightness of these 2 machines is super high, putting 100 inches is definitely underutilizing them. Both machines can project over 150 inches. It's just because they are too bright, I'm afraid the filming won't be enough. So the exposure was slightly reduced, and the projection was using the default mode. In bright mode, they'll get even brighter. So the picture will actually be brighter. A bit better, then let me interpret it because many people didn't see any difference at a glance since they are too similar. Apart from the brightness, most of their parameters are the same. And the conditions are the same for the same company. Look at this peak from here. The yellow areas are particularly bright. This picture highlights the bright areas and the reflection of water on the lake surface. The layers of the clouds and the details on the rock face are more distinct in this picture. This is the place where water ripples are reflected. The sense of pride in the bright sunlight is obvious. Here, the white foundation part is very obvious. The higher the brightness of the image, the bigger the difference becomes. So, with a black background image, the difference isn't that big. But in highlight areas, it can enhance the overall 3-dimensionality of the image. But the brightness of 2600 lumens at CWPO is already top-notch, especially since CWPO can't beat the flagship in terms of picture quality with 2350 lumens. You can make money off the brightness, so both the C2 Pro and C2 Ultra have unbeatable value for money at this price range. Many people will ask, after watching, is it just 400 lumens short? So this time, I'm here to share an exclusive from Ben Lan. Everyone can also take a screenshot and save it to look slowly. If you find it useful, you can forward it. Let's talk about the basic knowledge of light source bulbs, LED mechanisms first. Corresponding to the elderly, middle-aged, and young people, there's also 3 times stronger new energy. This is divided by the era they appeared in. Indeed, projector technology seems quite aged then, and picture quality and brightness are like climbing heights. Brightness and contrast are actually like the weight of the luggage you carry. This chart makes it very clear. Purely physical, they climb mountains relying solely on their physique, then carry heavy loads upwards. So, when he climbed to this 3000 CVA point, it was like this. It still carries the contrast from April of 2020, and other officials, he generally only reaches P3 reproduction. The contrast ratio is about 1000 to 1. Even some flagship models costing 10,000 only achieve 900 to 1 or so. The reason it's lower is because other officers, to further increase the brightness, climbed halfway up the mountain and then started to throw their heart into a sword. It's about dropping the color and contrast a bit, and then forcibly cranking up the brightness. Climbing a bit higher, even a model costing over 9,000 only has a contrast ratio of 500 to 1. Many devices did not list their trial runs. Now let's look at some failed video footage and talk about it. What does a 400 lumen difference between 2 projectors mean? Many people think it's just about brightness, right? But Vidda is not the kind of manufacturer that abandons the market and forcibly increases brightness. It belongs to the kind that carries the weight of many generations and continues to move up with 400 names. This is about marginal effects. If you were climbing up from the base of the mountain, would climbing an additional 400 meters make a difference? But you've carried a load up to 2600 meters, then are asked to go up another 400 meters. Every step you take will be very laborious. So, if you just look at the numbers, it does seem to have improved by 4. But once you understand the principles behind it, you'll realize it's not simple. And both devices have the IMX certification. Filmmaker modes, the Rhine Zero Harm Frame certification CR Ultra and HDR10 Plus certification. Why so strong? Because both devices use the latest high-end MLC38 mechanism. There are a total of 28 beads, and it reached a level 1 energy efficiency, unbeatable, at the same power level, and can even outperform those with double the power. This fighting power is truly like a cultivator's junior disciple. No wonder Xiaoyan's third lifetime blazing flames are so strong. Moreover, these 2 machines have an electronic optical zoom from 0.9 to 1.5, only needing 3.6 meters. I placed a 180-inch screen here, which looks like this. The essence of a real projector is the super cost-effective large screen. A 180-inch screen is how big? Approximately 3.89 by 2.24 meters, a total of 8.7 square meters. You can compare it to your bed, which is 1.8 by 2 meters. Piecing 2 together makes it 1.5 times larger in area, and with such a large picture, its quality is also very good. These sceneries all seem like wonders of the forest. Watching animations on such a big screen is truly enjoyable. The characters in the animation are bigger than me, giving the feeling of a private home cinema. The presence of these vivid colors is truly strong live. It's a pity that filming can't capture this large scale very well. And such a large screen, this Vidda's 12 Ultra is completely stress-free. Actually, the C2 Pro can also flip to 180 inches. Even when I turned on the 6 ceiling lights, it hardly made a difference. I have 4 lights here and 2 next door. As you can see, this bright scene is almost unaffected. So these 2 highlighted machines gain extremely strong scratch resistance without needing to buy those expensive protective films, even when not much space is taken. Over here, I am undisputedly naive. Just turn on the light and it's all set. And this focal distance is 0.9. Flipping to 100 inches takes only 2 seconds. Everyone can see that the machine is placed very close, saving money for a 3,000 plus magnifying lens. But now, with a short focus triple camera mechanism directly. Moreover, these two devices have a large electric zoom range. In a static air gathering situation, it is now 3.6 meters. Directly from 108 inches to 180 inches is lossless optical zoom. This means it nearly covers all installation positions. If you are unclear on how to calculate focal length and screen size, you can use the calculator on my website to figure it out. Then we'll discuss the other two devices. You played C2, it's all black, flipping a 100-inch whitewood house. Our brightness levels are 1,700 and 2,000 of the Hawaii light. The color gamut is 110% of BT 2020, and the contrast ratio is 1,700. These two machines do not have optical zoom. Both are fixed at 1.5 millimeters. So let me talk about digital transformation next. People often claim it doesn't matter, fearing they'll lose out by not adapting. It's not necessarily bad. Actually, quality loss depends on how much you scale down. Don't just feel bad about image quality loss whenever it's mentioned, because older projectors had poor color brightness, making people upset when discussing such losses. Then it's passed down, and without light zoom, there's loss of light. I'm now using digital zoom to shrink it for you to see. Do you see a big difference in the picture? Not really, right? Now, I've reduced it by 3 gears, making a total of 6 gears reduced, where the loss is already greater. Has the scene become unbearable to watch? Obviously. Not everyone talks about this percentage, meaning the loss can't be seen by just a glance. It's about how much loss there is. I think around 10% is no problem at all. If your installation distance is just about 10% off and needs adjustment, and if you're tight on budget, of course, you can choose these two specifically targeted machines for a preferential price to enjoy 4K 30-frame quality. So personally, I really recommend, if your budget is over 5,000, you can grit your teeth like a lizard, because it has already been explained before, about 3 or 4 mechanisms. Compared to other officials, it's purely about IQ. The resolution of 4K is supremely higher than 1080p, because it's upgraded from 2.07 million pixels to 8.3 million pixels, a 4-fold upgrade, which is a qualitative difference. When it comes to resolution, there will surely be someone asking why there isn't a 0.05 option. I receive a lot of messages like this, but I sincerely want to tell you something. A 0.05 chip is not as convenient as you might think, because 0.65 is also 1080p, understanding 4K. It is the same as 8,300,000 pixels. Its clarity improvement is not over 1%. And clarity is just one aspect of transcoding. I've always said the 4 elements of transcoding are brightness, resolution, and field of view. Contrast can't be judged on a single parameter alone. If clarity is improved by 10%, but the price increases significantly, I guess you guys can't accept it either. And a certain brand's flagship was over 20,000 before. It also uses 0.47, but instead its sub-keys use 0.05. I also don't know why, but I've seen a lot of machines with 0.05 back then, so I want to tell you that the clarity really hasn't improved as much as you think. So big. And then talk about the various adjustments in the system. I've said before that VDA really offers a lot of image quality adjustments, definitely the most adjustable options among smart projectors. The C2 series has added a lot of options for visual enhancements, which can adjust brightness automatically based on the environment. What surprised me the most is that in this visual optimization, there are 3 sets of filters for the visually impaired, and each set has a high, medium, and third option, plus a grayscale mode. This is my first time on a projector. Then there's the adjustment of the black levels, which is my favorite. I've mentioned it many times before. The effect is very powerful and can be adjusted according to one's environment, including gamma adjustment. It has a similarity with the black market level. Room temperature is also regulated by VLED. Its effect is immediate, and you can see it directly. Some friends may find the adjustment of the wall color a bit wild. Or light gray, light blue can use this feature, but I won't demonstrate it with this whitewood, so you can directly project strongly and save on the cost of wood cloth. And various cross-condition modes. Actually, I personally prefer to use the prior model. The colors are especially vibrant and luxurious. With more options in the limbs, there's enhanced picture compensation, dynamic contrast, super depth of field, dark field detail enhancement, and super resolution. Screaming at each other, Tsinghua Gradual Change also has this automatic identification of filmmaker's mode. But there are modes and 3D modes. Such a willful choice. Color correction includes adjustments for 7 colors, and white balance has 3. In total, there are 10 colors, with various adjustments. The VDA adjustment system is indeed powerful. Next, let's talk about the energy consumption power C2, which is 112 watts. CS123 watt, with Apple 150. The chip needs 187 watts, V.2 support, and also a first-level energy efficiency certification, so it has no rival at the same power. 187 watts can achieve this 3000 CVIA if it is the relevant authority. It is estimated that it must reach more than 250 watts, or even 300 watts to get to this point. And then, as for yesterday, the higher the brightness, the more it consumes. This is actually common sense. But this time, Vidda broke its record again with excellent cooling. The temperature of these 4 machines is all controlled in the 30s. My computer has been booting up for about 20 minutes because it's quite cool here recently. Then why are the C2 Pro and C2 Ultra even lower? It's because their casing is metal. C2 and C2X have plastic casings. Then C2 Pro and C2 Ultra inside them. The internal cooling structure, the fan might also be affected. Then there's the noise. All 4 machines are around 38 decibels. The education movement is well controlled, but many friends care about it. I can only say that any projector will have sound during the day, but the flash mechanism is better because of its energy efficiency and temperature control. It's already quite low. Even those tens of thousands of UN models have noticeable noise. The noise level of the old bulbs will be higher, but noise sensitivity varies from person to person and is also 100%. Some people just put it next to their ear and listen in silence. And you think that's normal? I'm really out of options. There's also the solo lane and things above. It's because I've already talked a lot about banner types this year, all in great detail. But the final conclusion is only a very few can't adapt. So whether it's quiet or not, whether you go to work or not, it all comes down to what you see and experience for yourself. Telling you is pointless. I've been using it for over a year, and VDA has been constantly improving and upgrading. It will be slightly better than the previous generation. But no matter whether it's going to work, social production or noise, these are inevitable. Certain physical phenomena cannot be completely eliminated, but he will try to reduce it. Finally, all 4 machines have upgraded the power supply that dilutes the price. I However, for the sake of comparison, I would probably choose the 12 Ultra. Besides, other parameters like 9679, HDMI 2.1, Wi-Fi 6, etc., I did not emphasize. Then there's the launch price. The cost-performance ratio is quite high. As for the appearance of the gimbal, it is indeed the trend now. However, as a rigging user, I have to complain. If only it could be detachable. Reduce the volume and weight for easy installation, and then use Ultra. There is a 20-watt base here. Although I don't read English, I have to say this is the best English among all projectors. No mistake. Because this is the only model, it's unique. If it weren't for the sound quality, it would indeed suffice. I myself am torn between the C2 Pro and C2 Ultra. I'm the main speaker on cross-placement. You can also see from the table that C2 and C2s offer really high cost performance. At this price, it totally outcompetes other brands' 4K devices. Choose based on budget and screen size. That's it for this episode. I hope it helps with your purchase. If you find it useful, please donate and share. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye, and see you in the next episode.